What's the difference between a hammer drill, an impact driver, and a standard normal drill slash driver? Well, here's the quick answer. A standard drill slash driver is generally going to have lower torque, usually 300 to 600 inch-pounds. It's good for driving fasteners like screws. It's good for general purpose drilling, including wood and metal. It can be used for masonry, but it is not as good as a hammer drill for this purpose. The shank fits both round and hex bits. It usually needs adjustment though, so you're going to have to turn this. You can't just pop the bits in and out. The hammer drill. So for the hammer drill, the torque is similar to a standard drill, but it can be more, often 350 to 750 inch-pounds. These will also typically have 20,000 to 30,000 BPM, or blows per minute. Hammer drills usually have all the features of a standard drill slash driver, but also include an additional hammer mode for stone and masonry. It provides forward impact blows with a hammering motion to help break up materials as it drills. Hammer drills are also generally heavier, which is why sometimes you might also want to have a normal drill on hand. Impact drivers. So these feature much more torque, usually between 1200 to 2200 inch-pounds. This also features burst torque. So impact drivers have additional very quick rotational impact blows in addition to the normal rotation. So impact drivers are used specifically for driving fasteners like screws and bolts using high torque. They are great for long structural screws, lag bolts, and rusted or stuck fasteners. They are great for compact use in tight spaces, and they typically feature a quick release hex shank. See how that's a hex shank there? They could be used for drilling, but this is not what they're intended for, and they're not good for this purpose. But if you have a drill bit with a hex bit that fits this, you could drill with this. Hopefully this was helpful. Keep watching if you want a more detailed answer. What is a standard drill slash driver? So we're basically gonna show you try to describe what a drill. Sometimes they call it just a drill, like a standard drill. This is a standard or normal drill slash driver. They'll call it a drill or a drill slash driver. It's because it does both of those things. So we're going to describe to you what it is and what it does, especially in the context of an impact driver that you see way back there in the back, and a hammer drill that you see right here. What is a standard drill? A standard normal drill. So the purpose of the purpose of this is general purpose drilling into wood, metal, or plastic, and lightweight screw driving. So that's what this is for. So key features, it's generally a 2-in-1 function. You can drill holes and drive screws. You can have basically a variable speed and clutch settings, allowing finer control over torque. It's ideal for precise work. The chuck type is going to be, it takes round and hex shank bits of various sizes, usually 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Apologies to everyone out there who does everything in metric. And yeah, for me not having those measurements in there. But yeah, you can rotate this, and this will fit round bits or hex bits just fine. Whereas so that would be similar to the hammer drill, but you're only getting hex with the impact driver. So yeah, so it's more of the pros. It's more versatile for a variety of tasks and better for drilling clean, accurate holes, and it's easier to control for beginners. So the cons, well, it struggles with long or dense material when driving screws, which is where the impact driver comes in, and there's more chance of stripping screws when over torqued. The impact driver helps with that. And this is not ideal for masonry like concrete, stone, or brick. You're going to use the hammer drill back there for that. Although this one will work for that, it's not ideal for it. So anyways, that's it. Just my quick description of what a drill driver is. They call it, it's basically just a standard drill, but you're going to see it labeled as a drill slash driver at the store, and on most labels, that's what they're going to call it. But it's just a normal, regular standard drill, right? So what is a hammer drill? A hammer drill is a power tool designed to drill into hard materials like concrete, brick, stone, or masonry. It combines a rotational motion like a regular drill with a rapid forward hammering action, hence the name. So while it's rotating like this, it is also hammering into the material. This helps you break up the material, hard materials like stone and masonry. It breaks them up while the rotation helps, pull out the materials, right? So generally, they have a cam action percussive hammering mechanism. So it has two sets of gears, two sets of toothed gears, and the rotation over the cams causes the hammering action. So the actual rotation of the drill also is what actually turns these gears and causes the hammering action. So it doesn't chisel without the rotation like some rotary hammers or SDS drills do. So that's one difference between a hammer drill and a rotary hammer or SDS drill. Those may be able to chisel without rotating, but because of the cam action and how the gears work inside a hammer drill, it needs to be rotating to be able to hammer at the same time. You can turn the hammering off, but you can't do just hammering without the rotation. It has to be rotating. So, hammer mode can be switched off to become a normal drill. So like this one has a normal drill mode, a hammer drill mode, and it also has a bunch of driving modes. You might want to check out, we just did a video reviewing this specific drill and talking about all the features and stuff. So you might want to also check that video out too. Now, this is also, a hammer drill is also known as a percussion drill or an impact drill, which actually kind of makes sense because there's also such a tool as an impact driver. So calling this for driving things, so calling this an impact drill, that name kind of makes sense, but normally people just call it a hammer drill. Now this is a little different, but related to a rotary hammer or SDS drill. It's just the SDS drill has a hydraulic thing, whereas this is more cam action. So, it's quick. It is, good for quick drilling with less effort. It's great for masonry drilling. That's, going to be concrete, stone, brick, cinder block, and stuff like that. So it's also great for thick lumber, really thick lumber that you want to get through. If normal drill is just not up to it, this might be great for that. So another use case for this. So the hammering action is very rapid. It's thousands of BPMs or blows per minute. So the actual hammers, it does thousands of those per minute. It does a lot. You could also call it the IPM or impacts per minute. So BPM for blows per minute, IPM for impacts per minute. Now, let's compare a hammer drill to a standard drill. So we've got a standard drill right here. So, we got the hammer drill and a standard drill right here. Now, this one is brushless. This one is not brushless. This is brushed. So not an apples to apples comparison, but still same brand, just regular drill driver and hammer drill. So the drill driver does drilling and driving. So it has a mode for drilling and a bunch of modes for driving with different torque settings. This one has driving, bunch of torque settings, normal drilling, and then the hammer drill mode, which is unique to a hammer drill. So a hammer drill can actually do the stuff that a regular drill can do, but it can do more. It's heavier though and louder, right? So, it can be used for more things than a regular drill, like masonry and rocks and all that other stuff, but it can be switched to non-hammer mode to work like a normal drill or a driver. So, that makes the hammer drill more versatile. So the hammer drill is also heavier, right? As I mentioned. Now, a hammer drill versus a rotary hammer or SDS drill. We talked about this a bit already. I don't have an SDS drill here to compare this against, but, so a standard hammer drill is good for DIY home use, also good for, professional use too, depending on what you're doing. It's going to be a rotary, so it's a rotary hammering combined, and it usually is switchable to regular drill mode, as we already talked about. Now, a rotary hammer is going to be more like pro heavy duty use, and it uses a piston mechanism for stronger impacts. So it's more heavy duty, stronger impacts because it's using an actual piston instead of that cam action that we already talked about. So let's see. They're also it will use SDS Plus or SDS Max bits. So you can use those on a rotary hammer, and it can drill hammer only or do drill and hammering. So that's another thing. A rotary hammer can do hammering only, whereas this guy, the hammer drill, cannot hammer only because of the cam action. It's not powered by a piston, powered by a cam that kind of limits it in that sense. So yeah, rotary hammer is going to be ideal for large holes and demolition, right? So next thing we want to compare this to, let's pull this guy out of here and move this guy in here. Impact driver. So hammer drill versus an impact driver. So got our impact driver here, no battery in it. That's why it's shorter. Otherwise it's going to be up here. Yeah, same thing with this. They just don't, the other tools don't have batteries in them at the moment. So that's why it looks shorter, but it actually makes it easy to see both tools at the same time. So anyways, hammer drill versus an impact driver. So an impact driver basically gives you rotational impacts, whereas a hammer drill will give you linear impacts, hammering in and out as it rotates. So the hammer drill back here will give you, as it rotates, it gives you, gives you straight linear impacts. The impact driver does rotational impacts. So it actually has this thing that moves around and hits this thing there's this thing sticking out of the shaft, and it will hit it, and it makes the shaft move really quick jerky motions, but it goes really fast. So you wouldn't really be able to see that as much, but that's basically what it spins by itself, but it has this thing that comes around, and like usually I think twice per rotation, it will hit it. So it helps it push things through and gives it more torque and power to push through things, if that makes sense. It makes more sense when you actually see it. I was actually watching a video by some other guy who actually cut open a section of a drill and showed how it looks inside, and that helps you. But point is, the impact driver is giving you rotational impacts in addition to just spinning normally. It gives you rotational impacts, whereas this guy, the hammer drill, just does in and out motion, right? So the other thing is that a hammer drill is going to have lower torque than the impact driver. So lower torque, higher torque, right? Impact driver is higher, hammer drill is a little bit lower. So and obviously this one is for masonry drilling, concrete, stone, brick, as opposed to driving stuff. So this is drilling, driving. You could drill things with this, but it's really not what it's for. So you'd be using the wrong tool for the wrong job. But yeah, not for driving. This is for basically all of that stuff. Anyways, so impact driver has a 1/4 inch hex shank only instead of round shank bits. So if you look at this is quick release, one hand. That's really convenient. And it has a hex shank like this, but hex only. So you can't put round drill bits in there. So you need drill bits with a hex connector on them. It is quick to swap this out. That's pretty normal for an impact driver. Whereas this guy, you have this type. This actually works with hex and with round, with round bits, and you have to spin it like this to have these things connect onto whatever bit you're putting in there. So you have to spin this. It takes a bit more time to swap this, but it fits round and hex shaped, whereas this is hex only, right? So that's the other difference. So that's basically the difference between hammer drill and an impact driver. So yeah, that's basically it. So we compared hammer drill to an impact driver, a regular drill, and an SDS or rotary hammer. So just to give you an idea what each of those tools does and what the differences are. So hopefully this was helpful. Feel free to give me a thumbs up for this video and leave a comment down below if you like. Also, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on our other tool videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on that next video.